Hey everyone, how you doing? I've been reading on Twitter some of the tweets. People are talking about the different kinds of technology that are used on targeted individuals, the kind of techniques and tactics to impede the value of a targeted individual's life, to drag them down, put them into, you know, I guess a lower frequency, a state of depression, a state of despair, and physically harm them in some cases. So seems like some people are kind of confused on what some of these weapons are, or some of the techniques and tactics are. So I'm just going to do my best to explain what some of these are. I've researched this for the last 3 years. I've been subject to some of these, and I'm not going to say which ones I have or which ones I haven't. Some of that I just keep to myself. In some of my videos, you hear me talking about some of these. So first, we'll start with directed energy weapon. A directed energy weapon is literally a weapon that is aimed at a target, kind of like in the Marine Corps, they have something called active denial. That's used for crowd disbursement, um, and they will aim this weapon at the person, and it will either burn them, shock them, um, or almost like punch them, like a force that hits them. So that is a directed energy weapon. Look up active denial. So an extremely low frequency weapon is something that, let's see, uh, something that I believe works with sound. So you've heard about hertz. Um, I've heard that 122 hertz is a sound wave basically that can be aimed at you, that can lower your frequency, that can put you in a state of depression. Um, there are different levels of that can be used to affect your mood, to put you into a depression, to make you anxious, to make you fearful, to cause a bunch of synthetic, basically, yeah, synthetic mood swings, where I've seen. Well, I'll just leave that at that. I'll leave that at that. Okay, V2K, or the voice of God. V2K is voice to skull. I'm holding my camera here, so I should have put it on the tripod. Voice to skull is a technological weapon, basically, and since the brain has no firewall, Dr. Robert Duncan, formerly of the CIA, graduated from Harvard, can tell you about this. Look at his YouTube videos and or read his books on this, where they can insert an audible voice into the target's head and make that person think that they are hearing voices in their head. They are hearing voices, but it's synthetic and done with technology. There was a base that I was stationed at while I was in the Middle East, and we had a big tower in the middle of the base, and they called that tower the voice of God. I don't know if it was a coincidence or not. Okay, synthetic telepathy is where they can use, I don't know how they do this, if it's through cell phone towers or if it's through chips, RFID chips, and I'll explain what that is, inserted into the brain. I don't know exactly how they do it, but it is basically something that can interrupt your thoughts or can insert thoughts into your thought pattern. So you're working on something, say you're typing something out, and all of a sudden a thought will go into your head that has nothing to do with what you're talking or what you're thinking about, or what you have your focus on, and that is done for several reasons: to sidetrack you from what you're doing, to make you think you're crazy, and to manipulate the remote neural monitoring. So what remote neural monitoring is basically technology being used to read individuals' thoughts. Now, Facebook has come out and let people know that they are researching this technology. There are government patents on this, And again, there is no firewall in the brain, so this is completely possible. There wouldn't be a U.S. patent for it if it's something that could not or will not function. So with the remote neural monitoring, that remote neural monitoring is being tracked and being recorded, and somebody's reading it. Whether it be the police department, intel agencies, corporations, whoever is trying to read your thoughts, basically. If somebody wants to create a false narrative of an individual, they can use synthetic telepathy to manipulate the outcome of the remote neural monitoring. If they want a certain individual, let's say I have a probation officer, and that probation officer is reading the remote neural monitoring recorded from me. And certain individuals want to create a narrative about me, they can insert different thoughts into my head. Follow me here. There are patents for this. There are millions of people complaining about this. But if they want to create a certain narrative about a person, they can insert those thoughts, that synthetic telepathy, into your thought pattern. Then the people that are reading the remote neural monitoring are getting a false narrative of the person that you really are. Okay. An RFID chip, radio frequency identification. These are inserted into, well, all kinds of people. I was going to say targeted individuals, but all kinds of people are getting RFID chips, just like you see people getting put in their hand right here to scan their door, to not have to have a key to enter their door, to identify themselves at work. Some people are voluntarily doing this, I believe in Denmark, somewhere in the Netherlands. But these are inserted into targeted individuals' bodies during consensual surgeries. So say somebody gets breast implants, say somebody has, or they break a leg and they need to get metal and a bunch of screws put into their leg. During that surgery, the doctor that you are seeing, the doctor that is performing the surgery on you, could have been approached by whatever agency is responsible for doing this. They tell the doctor that they need to help with national security. They have them sign a non-disclosure and what's called an NSL, a national security letter, saying that they cannot say anything about this due to national security, and they must insert this RFID chip into an individual's body. One of my friends actually, I just looked at her RFID printout, her scan of her body, and she's got, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them all throughout her body, some up towards her head, one in the chest, just different areas, one in the foot, things like that. So that's, and those are for tracking. They can track you pretty much anywhere you go. Say you leave your cell phone at home, they're not going to track you through your cell phone because it's at home. That doesn't matter. They can track you with the RFID chip, and there's other things they can accomplish by having an RFID chip in your body. They can read vitals, heart rate, emotions, different things like that to judge how you're feeling at the time, and then know when to attack you, basically. Okay, so here's some non-technological things that happen. Street theater. Street theater is when you go out into public and